The heritage-listed Art Deco Plaza Theatre opened in 1937. It offered a new level of comfort for Perth moviegoers, and later, with the swathe of blockbuster movies leading into the 1960s, it became Hoyt's premier cinema in Western Australia, showing 70mm Todd-AO extravaganzas. The Plaza underwent an extensive upgrade in 1965 and was renamed the Paris Cinema. The late cinema and television veteran Ken Alexander had arranged to film the theatre at the close of its brilliant career. Finally, the Paris Cinema was shut down in 1984, briefly becoming a youth disco. Hoyts relinquished their lease to the Ace Theatre Group when the Hoyt Cinema that replaced the Ambassadors was turned into Twin Cinemas in the mid-1970s, bringing with it an era of expanding multi-screen complexes. Alison Fan spoke with veteran projectionist Eric Nichols about the cinema's history.
What was it like on that first opening night in 1937?
Oh, a little bit worrying because although you'd had a rehearsal the night before, you still thought that with all the people that were high on the priority list in the state were invited, and I was very scared in case something went amiss.
What did the audience wear on nights like that?
On nights like that, they were always well dressed with. The ladies, of course, always turned out nicely, but
Dinner suits?
Oh, yes, all the chaps had dinner suits. And when they arrived, of course, there were floodlights in the street and all that sort of thing. People gathered around.
Do you think that's sad that that's gone now?
Or rather, yes. I'd like to see that come again. And I think they do it on odd occasions. Like the opening of the object was to, I think, to give you the impression such as they had in the Hollywood premiere.
What are the movies that you remember that were shown at this theatre?
Well, I remember particularly Lloyd's of London, which was the opening film with Tyrone Power. It was a very exciting movie, and also, I'm not altogether sure of this, but Lost Horizon with Ronald Colman, which has been done again and again. Prisoner of Zenda with Ronald Colman. Oh, there were...
Sound of Music would have been
Sound of Music, of course, that stands out because I spent so much time with it. I opened with it and I finished with it. And when it finished itself, I mean to say, it was wonderful sound. We always had full houses, terrific. But another one I remember very well was Emma La Douce. That we recall, went longer than we anticipated because we had a movie there to put on, but the people wouldn't let it go.
And how has your job now changed over all these years?
Well, it changed in lots of ways, but I was fortunate, like a lot more of my colleagues, that my job was my hobby also. I was interested, and if something new came up, I was there to have a look, such as I have done recently with the new innovations that are taking place.
The purpose of this visit was to evaluate what was needed to remove 2 Philips DP70 motion picture projectors for restoration. These projectors were used to show the 70mm Todd-AO movies such as Around the World in 80 Days, South Pacific and others during the late 1950s.
Yes, thanks. Bloody well. Yeah, really well, yeah. Not bad for 81 years old. How long? 81. I don't know what. You really got first? Yes. I there's one coming. You better go up first. Well,
And you've got a torch.
thanks, Graeme.
Wow.
There they are. You getting exposure enough?
Well, with that light.
Yeah, it's a good one. You can see the.
There we are.
Not up here, no.
Yeah, you're up. Good old memory, yeah. Yep. Looks a lot smaller.
We seem to have lost Richard.
Yeah, what happened to Richard?
Don't know.
We lost Richard and we lost Keith. You know when Richard...
Keith and Richard were eventually found on the stage, behind the basic screen erected for the disco. They discovered flies and pulleys that could enable a stage crew to quickly, quietly and safely hoist curtains, lights, scenery and stage effects during a live stage show. An interesting find for a theatre with a long history of film presentations.